Hey everyone. Well, we are fully engaged, right, in holding online parties now. So today's video, I'm going to show you how to teach your team how to have successful online parties by holding what I call a multiple host party. Okay, I'm Gail Bates, CEO of MyMentorBiz.com, where I help leaders in direct sales grow million-dollar teams with my systems and my strategies. And we have moved on to an online world where we are doing business online. And if you like these tips that I leave every week, I would love you to subscribe to the channel and just hit that little bell. That means you'll be alerted every time I do a video. So, you know, the days of holding in-home parties, it's kind of might come back, but at this point, we're really not sure. And so it's really important for you to work with your team to hold online parties. I believe they're a little bit more work, but once your team members really learn the steps of holding these online parties and serving their customers and their hostesses, you're going to see their business flourish. And of course, that's when your business flourishes, right? So I find that many team members don't feel confident in holding online parties, especially Facebook parties, some even Zoom parties, okay? Because they're not quite sure about the technology and they're not quite sure how to invite people to the technology. So they really is important that they learn how to have this. And the way for you as a leader to teach them is to have a multiple host party with your team. This is where you and your team members invite a hostess, okay, along with 3 or more guests to one event that you're holding. And that's where you have the opportunity to teach them how to be successful. So today I have 5 tips for you to holding a multiple host team event. So the first tip is actually a rule, okay? The rule is that for them to participate, they have to have a hostess with 3 guests. If they're coming and they don't have a hostess or any guests, it is really not going to work for them. So you want this to be a successful event where they have a hostess and they have guests, so they have a successful party. So making sure that that rule is followed by your team members is really important, okay? The second tip is I recommend you do a mini training for your team on how to host coach for this event. Now, many of your team members may already know how to host coach, but this is a specific, little different event. So you want to be specific, make sure that the team members understand that the hostess must fill out a wish list so that she can help her get her free or half-price products, and that the hostess has guidelines on how to interact in this larger event, okay? That's really important. Step number 3 is assigning your team members a task in the party. So if it's a Facebook party, you might want to assign team members to go live on a specific day so they each get the opportunity to understand how it feels to go live in a Facebook event. If it's a Zoom party, you might ask each team member to share their testimonial of why they joined. And that's a great way for people in the party to get to understand why people are in direct sales and how much they love their business. And it's a great recruiting seed as well. Step number 4 is to share the layout with your team, okay? In my online training of 8 steps to having a successful online party, I actually have a template, an 8-step template that shows you how to go through each step online, making sure you have a successful online party. I will link that as a very inexpensive online course. I will link it below for you. I do recommend that you create a Google form for every hostess and guest to fill out before the party, so everybody has all of the information and they're able to start building relationships with these hostesses and guests at a multiple event. I also recommend that you lay out for the team members the videos, the posts, the booking seeds, the recruiting seeds, the whole sequence of how the party is going to go, so that as team members, they know they're very, they want to follow along. And also it helps them to encourage their guests to interact and especially if you're doing some games and they're getting tickets, and they're able to encourage their guests to answer the questions and just have that interaction that we normally have at an in-home party. This is how you're going to have it at an online party. Number 5 is just simply share with them the follow-up, okay? That's so important. How do they follow up after this multi-hostess event, okay? And so encourage them to follow up, especially maybe for orders in checkout, instead of them just getting a link, that the team member actually follows up with the guest and the hostess on how what they liked, and we call it's just kind of like you're at a checkout, but you're doing it via video or via phone, and that's how they're going to get the sales and help the hostesses in this event be successful in having a successful party. And of course, then you want to make sure that they're following up and inviting that hostess and guests into their VIP groups, and also into, following up into their customer service follow-up system. So I recommend you hold this team meeting, this multiple team hostess event, at least once a month, because this is what I call on-the-job training. So let's go through those 5 steps again. Okay, the first is the rule that they must have a hostess and 3 guests. The second was to do that mini training on hostess coaching, so your team members know that how to guide their hostesses in this kind of event. Number 3, assign team members tasks, whether it's a Facebook party or a Zoom party. Each team member must know exactly what her role is in this event. And number 4 is share the whole layout, the format of how the party is going to go down, so that the team members are prepared to participate and encourage their guests to interact. And number 5 is share with them how to follow up and have that checkout with them, so that they can have higher sales and the hostess can be assured of receiving her hostess rewards. Okay, so the layout of holding an online party, as I said, is in my online course, 8 Steps to Holding an Online Virtual Party. I will link that below. But your call to action today is, tell me, what is your biggest struggle with your online parties? Or what is your biggest struggle that you see with your team holding online parties? Have a great week.